Do you know that in JAMB English, even one mistake can cost you over 10 marks? Most students fail because they run out of time. But what if I told you we could train your brain to answer each English question in just 30 seconds? Just like in the real exam. Let's prove it now. Welcome back to the channel where we prepare smartly for success. Today we are tackling 10 most likely JAMB English questions for 2026. We'll solve each one within 30 seconds. Exactly the kind of speed you need inside the exam hall. Don't just watch, grab your pen, time yourself, and let's practice like it's the real thing. The first section we have here is comprehension. It says read the passage below and answer the questions. Education is often regarded as the key to personal and national development. However, in many developing countries, access to quality education is still a challenge. Poor funding, inadequate facilities, and lack of qualified teachers continue to hinder progress. Yet, despite these challenges, some nations have managed to make remarkable improvements by prioritizing education in their national budgets and implementing reforms that focus on practical skills rather than rote learning. The first question says, according to the passage, which is the major obstacle to education in many developing countries? A. Rote learning. B. Lack of practical skills. C. Insufficient resources. And D. National reform. The correct option here is option C. Insufficient resources. Now let's explain. The passage mentions poor funding, inadequate facilities, and lack of qualified teachers as challenges. All these are examples of insufficient resources. Rote learning and practical skills were mentioned, but not as the major obstacle. So the correct option there is option C, insufficient resources. It is the major obstacle to education in many developing countries. Question 2 says, from the passage, what has helped some nations achieve remarkable progress in education? From the passage, what has helped some nations achieve remarkable progress in education? A. International aid. B. Building more classrooms. C. Teacher strikes. And D. Increased funding and reforms. The correct option is option Z. Increased funding and reforms. The passage says some countries prioritize education in their budgets. This means increased funding. They also implemented reforms. Don't forget, reforms are changes in policy or structure. So the progress was made because of funding and reforms combined. International aid is not mentioned. Classrooms are part of facilities, but the passage did not say that alone solve the problem. Teacher strikes are negative and not positive, so the correct option is option D, increased funding and reforms. Question 3 says, the author's attitude towards the future of education in developing countries can best be described as. The author's attitude towards the future of education in developing countries can best be described as A. Pessimistic, B. Neutral, C. Hopeful, and option D. Indifferent. The correct option is option C. Hopeful. The tone refers to how the writer feels. At first, the passage talks about problems, but later it says some nations are making remarkable improvements through reforms and funding. This means the writer believes things can get better. This is a hopeful attitude, not pessimistic, which means hopeless, not indifferent, indifferent means not caring, and not neutral, just reporting facts. So the correct option there is option C, hopeful. The writer has a hopeful attitude. Question 4 is on summary. It says, in one sentence, summarize the main idea of the passage above. In one sentence, summarize the main idea of the passage above. When summarizing, there are two things you need to do. Number 1, remove examples, details, or repetition. 2, pick the central idea. Here the main points are 1. Education has problem. And that problem is what? Poor resources. The second thing is there is a solution. The solution, what is the solution? Funding and reforms. That's the solution. So the one sentence summary is education in developing countries faces challenges due to poor resources, but progress is possible through funding and reforms. That is the one sentence summary of the main idea of the passage. We move on to question 5. This question is on synonym. It says choose the word that best replaces the underlined word. The teacher's explanation was so lucid that even the weakest students understood. The teacher's explanation was so lucid that even the weakest students understood. Option A, confusing. B, clear. C, harsh. And D, simple. The correct answer there is option B, clear. The word lucid means easy to understand and clear in meaning. Confusing, which is option A, is directly opposite. Harsh has nothing to do with clarity, and simple looks close, but something simple may not be clearly explained. So the best synonym there is option B, clear. Question 6 is on antonym. It says choose the word that is opposite in meaning to the underlying word. His response was spontaneous, surprising everyone at the meeting. His response was spontaneous, surprising everyone at the meeting. Option A, planned. B, sudden. C, unexpected. And D, quick. The correct option is option A, planned. The word spontaneous means done without preparation. The opposite would be something prepared in advance. That is exactly what planned means. So sudden, unexpected, and quick actually describe spontaneity, not the opposite. So the correct answer there is option A, planned. That is the word that is opposite in meaning to the underlying word, spontaneous. Question 7 is on Concord. It says, neither are they nor Bola blank willing to take the blame for the mistake. Neither are they nor Bola blank willing to take the blame for the mistake. Option A, is. B, are. C, were. And D, have been. The correct option there is. That's option A. The rule of Concord is very simple. In neither nor constructions, the verb agrees with the subject closest to it. The closest subject here is Bola, and Bola is singular. Therefore, the verb must be singular. That's why is the correct answer there. Is singular, not are, not were, not have been. The correct answer is because of the rule of Concord. Question 8 is on stress pattern. It says, which word has its stress on the second syllable? Which word has its stress on the second syllable? A, comfort. B, police. C, market. And D, teacher. The correct answer here is option B, police. This word has its stress on the second syllable. Now comfort, the stress is on the first syllable. Don't forget all these words here, they have just two syllables, the first and the second syllable. The first one, comfort, has the stress on the first syllable. Police has the stress on the second syllable. Market has the stress on the first syllable, and teacher has the stress on the first syllable. So the correct option here is police, which is option B. It has the stress on the second syllable. Question 9 is on idiomatic expression. It says choose the option that best explains the expression. After losing the match, the captain decided to throw in the towel. After losing the match, the captain decided to throw in the towel. Don't forget the idiomatic expression there is throw in the towel. What does it mean? Option A, buy a new towel. B, admit defeat. C, request for timeout. And D, fight harder. The correct option here is option B, admit defeat. Now, throwing the towel is an idiom for boxing, where a boxer trainer throws a towel into the ring to show surrender. In English usage, it means to give up or admit defeat. The other options are literal and don't capture the idiomatic sense. So the correct option there is option B, admit defeat. That is what to throw in the towel means. Question 10 is on Concord agreements. The question says, each of the boys blank given a new book by the teacher. Each of the boys blank given a new book by the teacher. A. Where. B. Have. C. Was. And D. Are. The correct option there is option C. Was. Each of the boys was given a new book by the teacher. The subject here is each and not boys. Each is singular, so the verb must also be singular. Therefore, the correct form is was. Many students mistakenly choose plural verbs in this type of JAMB questions because they see boys, but the real subject is each. Now we have a bonus question. It says, choose the option that best completes the sentence. If I blank the governor, I would provide more scholarships for students. If I blank the governor, I would provide more scholarships for students. A. Was. B. Where. C. Am. And D. Be. What will happen is leave the answer to this question in the comment section. And that's it. We have just answered 10 most likely JAMB English language questions in 30 seconds each, plus a bonus question. Remember, JAMB is not only about what you know, but also how fast and accurate you answer. If you found this helpful, make sure you like, share and subscribe so you don't miss our next practice session. Drop your score in the comments. How many did you get correctly within the time limits? Stay sharp, keep practicing, and I will see you in the next video. Success is yours in JAMB 2026.